everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Science Into Another World News. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you coming on to subscribe to my channel. I want to say thank you to all the people who are still here supporting my channel. So if you like what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up. And I really appreciate and love all the comments and stuff you guys leave after my videos, because I love talking to people about the UFO abduction phenomenon subject. It just absolutely amazes me. And I like talking about other weird stuff too, like Bigfoot and the Philadelphia experiment, which I think is pretty awesome, if it did happen. Not for the people who supposedly have melted into the ship when the ship returned, but just the thought, just the whole story and the whole Bigfoot story, all of it is just amazing. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen it, there is an amazing photo that hit the news last week. I think it was Thursday, I believe. Wednesday or Thursday. Pretty sure it was Thursday. Everybody's been talking about it. Roderick Martin over at Why the Big Secret, his YouTube channel, they were talking about. He did like a whole hour, a little over an hour long segment on. I suggest you check out his channel because it's really cool. Richard Dolan members too, he was talking about on his channel. I'm part of his membership, so I suggest you check him out too. Then Jay at Project Unity on YouTube, I suggest you check them out too, because he does really, they all do really good work. But yeah, everybody's been talking about this photo that was taken over at Calvine Scotland in August of 1990. There were actually 6 photos, but only one photo is managed to be found. Most likely the MOD has gotten rid of the other 5 photos, which they would be complete idiots if they destroyed those photos. Nowhere, I can't imagine them destroying those photos, but I'm pretty sure they're hidden or locked away somewhere. But your researcher found one photo and managed to bring it to light, and it's been, I think, 35 some plus years why he's been trying to find this photo, because I guess the story had been out there about this craft being seen over Calvine, Texas, or Calvine, Scotland. I don't know why I said Texas. Maybe because I'm thinking about going to Texas in a couple of weeks. Yeah, but and according to Nick Pope, who worked for the MOD, a picture of this craft was blown up and hung on his wall. And when he came in, I guess, to work the following, his boss, if I think I'm getting the story correct, he came to his office and they had taken the photo down and completely disappeared. This huge photo of this craft that was taken over Calvine, Scotland, was in his office, and when he came in, this photo had been taken down and just completely disappeared. So I guess that's the story they had been trying to find out about for the last 30 some years, about this image and these photos that were taken. So I'm going to show you guys an image of the photo from my computer. So if you can see, let me dim the light on my ring light. So if you can see it, right there is the image of the diamond shaped craft, and right behind it you can see like a fighter jet chasing it or trying to catch up with it. Of course they didn't catch up with it, because according to the 2 witnesses, this thing just shot up straight into the sky and was just gone. So yeah, they didn't catch up with it. But there were, like I said, there were 6 photographs taken. Only 1 photograph was recovered. And I'm going to read a little bit of the story behind it. That's absolutely a freaking amazing photo. Oh, I would love to be on that craft. Not to be abducted. Invite me on. I don't want to be abducted. Just invite me onto your craft so I could just be on it, because that thing looks absolutely amazing. So freaking cool. Can you imagine the technology behind it? Anyway, let me get to the reading of the story. So the legendary Calvine photograph showing a UFO in a warplane has been revealed after 30 years. It's actually a little over 30 years. So right there is the researcher who actually ended up finding the photograph. And then that's the retired Air Force officer who actually kept a copy of the photograph. So the researcher was actually able to find the retired Air Force officer who kept a copy of it, so he turned it in. Well, he didn't turn it in. He didn't turn it in, that's what I meant to say. So the researcher who found the photograph was Dr. David Clark. He tracked down former retired Air Force retired Air Force officer, press officer Craig Lindsay, who still had a copy of the photo. So, showing what seems to be a huge angular object with what appears to be a Harrier jet in the distance, the image is an extraordinary piece of the UFO puzzle. It was taken at around 9 p.m. on August the 4th, 1990. I'm just amazed at how bright it was at 9 p.m., but I guess it's just bright over there at 9 p.m. in Scotland around that time. It was taken by two hikers on a hillside near Calvine, just off the 8-9, some 35 miles northwest of Perth in Scotland. The two men, whose identities remain unknown to this day, claimed they were watching the metallic object hovering with a low hum for around 10 minutes while fighter jets made passes in the distance. As they watched the jaw-dropping scene, the object, which is estimated to have been up to 100 feet long, then is said to have shot off at a high speed straight up into the sky, never to be seen again. Can you imagine being out there and you seeing something like that on a freaking clear night? It's absolutely freaking amazing. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, your mind just wonders who's behind, who's flying it. Is it a breakaway civilization of humans like Richard Dolan? Well, he didn't say that that's who he thought was fine, but he always talks about a breakaway civilization of humans. Is it like if it is a breakaway civilization of humans, it's like a new species of humans? Is it hybrids that are flying this thing? Is it Greys? Is it Nordics? Is it tall white? Is it reptilians? Is it mantids? I mean, your mind just goes, who is flying that freaking awesome craft that I would love to be on? But like I said, invited to be, come on. I don't want to be abducted. I don't want to be experimented on. Just invite me on, like on Star Trek, like they do in First Contact. But yeah. And so what's amazing about this story was that the MOD didn't want these photos to come out. They didn't want to release these photos until like 2076, or the names of the witnesses, which we still don't have the names of the witnesses, but it would be nice if we could find them if they're still out there, if they want to come out and talk. So yeah, but why keep this a secret? Why the big secret, like Robert Martin says? I just don't understand. That's an extraordinary photo. It's gonna be my new screensaver for my phone and my computer. I just absolutely love it. One of the best, clearest photos of a UFO I've seen. I mean, there are some other photos, but this is an amazing photo. An absolutely amazing photo. And the retired Air Force officer who kept a copy of this, he said he's been waiting he's 83. He said he's been waiting like 30-some years for somebody to come and find him to talk about this photo. He's been waiting for someone to come and find him so he could talk about this photo. And someone finally did. David Clark found him and got it out there. I'm trying to see if there's any other information. Hold on. What's weird is that the hikers actually contacted the Scotland News and gave them like pictures of the photos, the photos to put in the news, and the news didn't report on them. They never put the pictures in the news. So I don't know if the MOD has something to do with it, keeping it out of the news. Obviously they didn't want it in the public because they didn't. These photographs were classified or whatever. They didn't want to release to the public, so of course they had their hand in the news. Let me see what else. So it goes on to say about the identities of the two hikers who took the photo are still unknown and are not expected to be revealed before 2072. That's absolutely ridiculous. I suggest hikers, or if you're still out there and if you come across my YouTube channel, just come on, just let it out, just reveal yourself to us. As the Ministry of Defense has cited privacy concerns. Yeah, right, okay. Privacy concerns. I don't think the witnesses who sent these photos to the newspaper, whoever the news, was concerned about privacy photos. Obviously, they wanted the information out there, so Despite all the publicity, the two chaps who took the photographs have never come forward. Well, yeah, that is true. They haven't come forward unless they were threatened. It's possible. I mean, we've had military people and men in black come and threaten people about what they've seen and not to talk about. So it's possible they were threatened. I wouldn't be surprised. The negatives have never been seen since they reached the Ministry of Defense. Now the Ministry of Defense said they returned them to the Daily Record, but the Daily Record say they never received them and they have no idea what happened to them. So yeah, that's who the two gentlemen sent the photographs to, was the Daily Record. MOD know they didn't return those photographs to them. There's no way they were going to turn photographs of a clear UFO hovering over Scotland. Why would they? They're not going to do that. If anybody believes that story, come on. So, let's see, what else? While we don't know what happened to the men who took the photo, we do know what they described happened 32 years ago. According to what Lindsay told Clark, the two men were working as chefs in a hotel in Pillowtree in the Scottish Highlands. I would love to go to Scotland. Oh, I am dying to go to Scotland and Ireland. Maybe one day I'll get there. When one summer evening they decided to go for a walk in the hills near Calvine. While out walking, the two spotted a huge diamond-shaped flying craft moving silently in the sky. They saw this thing in the sky and it scared them. They ran into some woodland to sort of keep their heads down, and they heard this jet come down the valley, and then 2 minutes later it returned and started circling around the object, and that's when they took the photographs. Whether what the two men saw on that summer evening in 1990 was actually a UFO, as the two men thought then, is still unclear. Clark had the photo analyzed by one of his colleagues, senior lecturer in photography at Sheffield Hallam University, Andrew Robinson, who said the image shows no sign of manipulation. It follows that this is either a genuine unidentified flying object in the sky, the report by Robinson reads, or that any construction or manipulation used to create this occurred in front of the camera, not in a capturing of the scene not in the capturing of the scene on film, nor in the subsequent processing and printing of the image. Let's see what else. And again, here is another photo of the retired Air Force officer holding an image of the copy he kept, and his name is Craig Lindsay. So yeah, Lindsay is also convinced that the image is not a hoax, but while Clark admits the photo is by far the best UFO photograph he has ever seen, the journalist said he doesn't believe the object in the image is actually an alien flying saucer. Sadly, I do not think that mysterious aircraft arrived from another galaxy, Clark wrote in a piece he published in the Daily Mail. I believe it was man-made somewhere in a secret hangar, and whatever it was remains on the secret list and highly sensitive. He thinks that the mysterious flying object could have been the Aurora, a top-secret reconnaissance aircraft which the U.S. was rumored to be building in the 1980s, though there was never any evidence of such a project, and the U.S. government has constantly denied its existence. Of course they're going to deny it. Although there has never been any substantial evidence that it was ever built or flown, there have been numerous unexplained sightings and incidents in both the U.S. and the U.K. over the years that have fueled the Aurora myth, Calvine included, wrote Clark. Though Clark is 100% sure that someone somewhere in the military establishment in Britain or the U.S. knows exactly what the photograph shows, the journalist also admitted that it's possible the image could be anything, including a prank. So, I mean, people have that. He's entitled to his own opinion. The other option is that the whole thing is a practical joke, a prank that got out of hand, Clark told Newsweek. The whole purpose of publishing the story is hopefully to get either the photographers themselves or someone who knows photographers or knows something about the circumstances to come forward and solve the mystery. I do hope the photographers come forward. I really do. I mean, after 30 some years, hopefully they're still alive. At least one of them or both of them are still alive. Like I said, maybe they were threatened. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe that's why they haven't come forward. Who knows? Hopefully it's not a prank. I don't know. I don't think it's a prank. I mean, look at the. I don't think it's our military, but I could be wrong. We did have recovered technology from the Roswell crash. We had recovered technology from the Aztec crash. Then you have probably recovered technology from the Kecksburg, Pennsylvania crash. That thing that came down that's shaped like an acorn almost. They had said it had all this strange writing on it. So there seems to be a couple of. I mean, it could be reversed. If it is ours, I'm leaning towards that it's reverse engineered alien tech. But I'm really hoping it's not ours. I mean, if it is ours, that'd be cool. But I'm really hoping it's from somewhere else, not man-made, not made by human hands. But yeah, oh my God, just look. I gotta show that photo one more time. Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Absolutely amazing. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, if you guys haven't seen the interview that Tucker Carlson did on Tucker Carlson Today with Dr. Gary Nolan, I suggest you freaking check it out. It's absolutely amazing. So Dr. Gary Nolan is a professor and a doctor at Stanford University. In 2011, some people from the CIA agents came into his office unannounced and wanted him to look at some slides or images or MRI images of people who came in contact with like UFOs, who like walked up and touched them, and then they had all these effects done to their body and stuff. So yeah, and he thought it was a joke. He seriously thought it was a joke because he had never really had any interest in UFOs and stuff before then. And yeah, they came into his office and wanted him to look at these slides and study them, and of course Dr. Gary Nolan, some of the, and I guess it was military people who had came into contact with things and walked up and touched. I mean, who is not gonna want to walk up and touch a UFO? I would be one of those people. I'm sorry, if a UFO landed in the middle of a field and it's just sitting there, I probably will walk up and touch it. I mean, it's the experience of a lifetime. I may end up paying consequences later. Hopefully not. Because it doesn't say everybody. There's been a lot of people who've kind of walked up and gotten close to UFOs and they didn't have any negative experiences. But there was the one with that Betty Cash and Vicky Landry, and her grandson was in the car. And I believe this was in Texas, I believe. They were coming back from a bingo game, and this diamond-shaped UFO came out of nowhere, and it was hovering over the car, and like this fire or something was coming out underneath of it, and they ended up getting like radiation burns or something. So, I mean, yeah. So you just never. I guess it's not like they got sick intentionally and think obviously something was wrong with this craft, and some of these crafts do put off negative energy or radiation, but then some of them don't. So I guess it's just the luck of the draw. But yeah, even Dr. Nolan and Tucker Carlson said they probably be one of those people who will go up and touch it, and I'll probably be right along with them. But let me see if I can find you the slides, because I have the video pulled up on my computer. Let's see. And he also mentioned Jim Pennison, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who he is. He was part of the Rendlesham encounter, where he ended up going and touching that triangle-shaped craft, and he saw like ones and zeros down low into his head, and I think he ended up getting like issues with his heart later, and how the military was denying him benefits and stuff, and it was just a whole story behind it. But yeah, he talks about him on here. Let me see if I can find the images, the slides that they showed him, because there's an image of someone's brain who was exposed to a UFO.
Might have been is now gone.
Okay, so I think I
Should
got
not
it.
have been.
He shows a normal brain. He shows one injured.
Those white tracks there are just damage
Okay.
to the brain. Are
Okay.
because we have MRIs, the things that you see within the body. And so what we had done was, in looking at some of these MRIs, we had noticed damage in the brain, white matter disease it's called. You know, if you know anybody, for instance, who's had multiple sclerosis, and you look at an image of their
That
brain,
image is the
and you'll
image
see
of damage
these
to the
white
brain,
matter
and then that's a
objects.
normal.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you can see it there. Those white tracks there are just damage to the brain. Right, those are
But there's
dead
something
areas
else, you guys, I had noticed when I
so
first
if you
watched
have
this
that dead
video.
area of the brain, whatever
And I caught it when I
function might
first
have been
watched the
is now
video, because
gone.
I've seen the video
Right, so
like
memory,
twice already, and
movement,
Roderick Martin
can
caught
all
it
be
too when
affected.
he
Now, the
watched
brain
it.
can luckily
If
rewire
you
some
see
things,
the wording
so depending
on the
extent of
slides that he's looking at, it talks about it has DOE listed on there, and Department of Energy, and it says DOE Advanced Propulsion Gravity Research Threat. Now, I don't know if Dr. Gary Nolan meant to leave that on there when he showed these slides, or he was trying to tell us something like Robert Martin said, but I noticed, and I'm like, I can't believe he left that on there. Was that a mistake that he did on purpose for us to see that? I can imagine the Department of Energy would want it left that on there, but there it was. CEO Executive DOE Advanced Propulsion Gravity Research Threat. Post PRC visit, and then down at the bottom it says injury, white matter disease, and system scoliosis. So yeah, it's a brain of somebody who was exposed to energy coming off of UAP. But like I said, even if you don't like Tucker Carlson, you don't like his politics, this goes beyond politics. Just watch the show. I mean, I don't ever watch him when he's talking about this, and at least he's talking about it. At least they are talking about this, and it's a subject that needs to be out there and needs to be talked about. So get past that. Watch the video, interview, because it's really, really, really good. And so, and Dr. Gary Nolan, if you want to look at his background, like I said, he's a professor at Stanford, and his credentials is freaking awesome. Dude is off the chart smart. Let's see. You can go to Stanford and look at his profile, his biography up. His areas of research include hematopoiesis. I have no idea what that means. I think it has something to do with the blood. I know he studies blood. And his other areas of research is cancer, leukemia, autoimmunity, inflammation, computational approaches for network and systems in immunology. Dr. Nolan's recent efforts are focused on a single cell analysis advanced using a mass spectrometry flows cytometry hybrid device, the so-called CyTOF, and the multi-parameter ion beam imager developed by Dr. Mike Angelo in his lab. And it just goes on, and he's won some awards and stuff. So yeah, so his credentials speaks for himself. For somebody to come out and talk about this with his background, his education, and he talks about this, and I guess some of his colleagues were like, won't you worry about your reputation? And he was like, no, I've always gone against the grain. I mean, somebody needs to study this. And he also speaks like, if you're a scientist and you don't want to study, then you're not truly a scientist, you're a priest or something to that aspect. He talks about in your interview, which I understood what he was meaning. If you're a scientist, you call yourself a scientist, you want to study something like this. You want to study UAP. You want to look into the abduction phenomenon. You want to see if women are being abducted and having hybrids and embryos surgically implanted and then removed after like a 1 or 2 month period. That's the other weird thing I was thinking about the other day. I was watching that documentary again, The Seeding, which I've already watched it like 3 times. And a lot of these women who are impregnated with these hybrid embryos, so they're impregnated, they're carry the baby for maybe 1 or 2 months, then they're taken back on the ship and have the fetus removed. What is weird though, because some of these ladies have gone to their doctor, and because they knew something was wrong, they didn't get their period, they weren't feeling right, so they went to the doctor, and the doctor confirmed that they were pregnant. And some of the ladies were surprised, and so they'll go home. Maybe 2 months pass, and then they come back to get their checkup or something. They know something isn't right, and the baby's gone. There's no baby. They haven't had a period, and the doctor just tells them, "Oh, your body absorbed it." I just don't see how that's possible. Your body absorbing a fetus. Normally, when a woman has that time in the month or she has a miscarriage, your body's gonna do everything to expel it, to get it out of there. For them to tell me, it's just absorbed. It absorbed it all like it never existed. That's just strange. I mean, maybe they don't know what else to explain, so they just tell them whatever to just get them out of there because they don't know how to explain it. But anyway, I would hope Dr. Gary Dolan looks into something like that. I mean, he's a brilliant doctor. And if he's going to look into people being exposed to UFOs and UAPs, I hope he looks into the abduction phenomenon and women being abducted and implanted with babies and hybrids and having them removed after like 2 months. And like I said, I just don't see a female body absorbing a fetus and not expelling anything, because your body needs to expel that or whatever. That's why we have a monthly period or whatever. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Like I said, I ain't no doctor, but anyway, I think that's all I want to share for you guys tonight. Give me your feedback below. What else? Is there anything else I wanted to share? No, I think that was it. That UFO over Calvine Scotland is going to be my new screensaver for my phone and my computer. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So that's it. That's all I got for now. Check out those YouTube channels. I missed you out. Roderick Martin over at Why the Big Secret. Check out Richard Dolan's site. Join his membership. Richard Dolan members. Sign up at J at Project Unity. Check out Linda Moulton House site. She does a live show every Wednesday night from 9:30 to 10:30. So yeah. Anyway, they're great people, great shows. They have great content. That's it. That's all I got for now. Like Richard Dolan says, don't let the bastards get you down. And I'm out. Bye.